So welcome, Ardaas Singh today. So we're doing an English conversation today. Yeah, good to have you.
Sadna, thank you for inviting me, Japa Jot.
You're welcome. Yeah, and we will talk about some very special topic, something that's got to do with Kundalini yoga. And so we are talking about the Kundalini today.
Nice, exciting.
Yeah, because yeah, I saw on your YouTube channel, Ardaas Singh's got a big YouTube channel, and I saw that you already did some videos about it. So we might put some link in the comments or description. But maybe first yeah, you can say something about you, like who are you, what are you doing, and yeah.
Well, I am Ardaas Singh. I was born in Mallorca, so I'm a little bit German already. uh, and I was born in a yogic family, so I've seen yoga since I was a baby. And I learned some of the postures. I read some of the books when I was little, and then I tried to get as far away as I could from the spiritual things, and as far as I could in my head was to become an engineer. So I became an engineer, and um, and I worked and I specialized in AI, actually artificial intelligence, and in I was working on putting neural networks on chips, which is basically the ChatGPT right now is exploding, right? So that was the thing that I started working on in university. And then when I was doing the PhD on this topic, I had some experiences I couldn't explain with the rational physics, mind of understanding physics and the rational world. And so what could I do was I turned back to my sister and asked her, Seva, can you tell me what's going on? And that's so I got back to the spiritual world and yoga, and that's how I transitioned back to becoming a yogi. And I went fully into yoga, and I don't do engineering anymore. And so I now do this. I teach yoga level one, level two, and I am teaching Karankriya, and I have this YouTube channel where I basically I approach yoga with the same mentality as an engineer. I find it very useful that because I was doing research in the university, I apply my research mind to yoga, and then whatever I investigate, that I share it in YouTube videos, and that's my passion right now. This is sharing these things, and yeah, this is what I do right now. And we were just having a conversation. So for those who are tuning in now, we were talking in my YouTube channel. We were talking about music, and so we started having a conversation about that. And we are now moving into the Kundalini, but yeah, we are already warm up because we were discussing about music. So
Yeah, and if you want to watch that conversation, and if you maybe like think that you're not encouraged enough to sing, then you should definitely watch it. We will put the link in the description as well. Yeah.
yeah, we talked about the fear of singing and how to overcome that, and what's going on with singing that is so special.
Yeah,
It was a nice talk.
that's great. Yeah. Okay, so today it's about the Kundalini. And yeah, the reason why we're talking about the Kundalini is also that even though it's called Kundalini yoga,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it's got to do something with the Kundalini, um, this topic isn't really being discussed. It's like a shadow topic in the Kundalini Sangat. And yeah, so we want to put the light on it. We wouldn't really call us experts about this. It's more about, yeah, just talking about it and maybe sharing what we experienced, and yeah, so that it's more a topic in this. in this community of Kundalini yoga. So maybe you can start, like, what experience do you have with the Kundalini?
All right. So I don't think I was aware of what Kundalini was when I was starting yoga back when I was a little child. Though, in some of these books, I'm sure there was talks about the Kundalini, but I didn't read about that. My first experience with the Kundalini was through my sister, who was doing Kundalini yoga at the time, and through some experiences I had which were not very pleasant, and they were not actually very positive. And we hear about these Kundalini side effects. And to be honest, within the context of our tradition, Kundalini yoga, as we practice it, I haven't seen many Kundalini awakenings that are with negative side effects, but I have seen those outside of our community very often. And that's certainly what happened to me. Basically, as a very agnostic and atheist, and I didn't believe in any of that when I was young, and finally getting back into contact with yoga, I was really reluctant to go to anyone to learn. I didn't want to find a teacher. I didn't want to go to a guru, let's say. I wanted to figure out things by myself, which has always been my attitude. Even in engineering, I would always rediscover the wheel. Basically, I would be doing research for weeks and then show it to my supervisor. And he's like, "Oh, that's great. It has already been discovered. There's this paper in Australia. It was written a few years ago about this." And I'm like, "Oh, 2 weeks of research for nothing." But that's my attitude, to look things by myself. But that got me in trouble because I got these books on Kundalini Tantra. You may know this book from the Bihar School of Yoga. Mm-hmm. It's a really, really good book. But basically, that is a manual for somebody who is practicing yoga within their school, within the school of Bihar. And I didn't do it in that way. I took the book and I took it religiously. And I started practicing it 3, 4, 5 hours a day. I mean, really deeply. I would I started from nothing to, I would get up very early and do Tarata camp for 30 minutes, and then, I don't know, these asanas and these meditations, and then this, and every month I would add something to the practice. I would not remove anything, I would just add something. So, and then something happened and I kind of stopped suddenly. And that was it had a nasty consequence, which was that I had vertigo, but very severe vertigo. So my feeling was that as if somebody had put me upside down and they were like spinning me like a fan, like these fans on the top of the room, spinning like that. And I was like that, very severe for many days, and then less severe for a month, which basically incapacitated me. I was in bed for the whole month, sometimes almost fainting, to go to the toilet, and so on. That was the beginning of something that would stay with me for years. And now, later on, I understood that it was that all this push I was doing energetically with all these practices I was doing, and I was going chakra by chakra, doing very specific techniques on every chakra, following the book and following other things that I was reading, not just the Kundalini Tantra book. And so that was creating an imbalance in my pranic body. And I wasn't ready. My nervous system wasn't strong enough. I wasn't balanced enough in my glandular system, and I just couldn't manage all this energy. And it manifested in this way. All the energy went into the higher chakras, and that felt like dizzy. And that was the dizziness that became the vertigo. So I understand it now that it was an imbalance in the pranic energy, possibly a Kundalini awakening that was improperly managed. Mm-hmm. And it took me many years to find balance in that. And actually, I was very fortunate when I was teaching Kundalini yoga in a yoga center, where the yoga center was both a Kundalini center and a pranic healing center. So the guys who were running the center, they did pranic healing, and they were like quite often checking me and helping me and recalibrating me. And I would sometimes feel euphoric, sometimes feel, one with nature, and sometimes I would feel horrible and my head twisting. So they would be guiding me and helping me to find my balance. So, but it took me a while. And what I recognize is that when we do the practices that we do within the context of Kundalini yoga, with the proper mantras and protection and the gurus, with the proper kriyas and meditations, with the time that we allocate for everything, it doesn't happen this way. And it doesn't have to have the negative impact. And you can have the awakening, you can have the surge of energy, and you can feel passion and love and all these incredible gifts without going into a big crisis in your life. No, so that's basically my story.
I agree. Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's very interesting and very, yeah, intensive. So yeah, I didn't know, didn't had a clue. So yeah, that's good way to start into the topic, and that's
Yep.
a bit. I feel that it's a bit related with these Kundalini awakening sessions and facilitators to help you rise the Kundalini in a few hours, and that's like, yeah, something that's coming up or has been come up the last years, and I mean, it sounds very attractive. Like you don't have to do like 20 years of Kundalini yoga. Just come for this weekend and yeah, um, become your higher self or something.
Yeah.
And and it kind of works. The Kundalini
Oh, it
might,
does.
yeah,
Yeah, you can
really
wake it
rise
up, no
up, and
problem. Yeah.
but people aren't prepared. Like they might not be vegetarians. They might not have a daily practice, and their nervous system, just as you said, might not be prepared. And probably you have probably all heard about, for example, this Kundalini meditation where you have this snake and you watch it and do it like day for day, and someone did it for a year, but he wasn't prepared, but he definitely wanted to rise up the Kundalini, and then it did rise up, and it got went through the wrong ways, like, and he was like 2 years, his psycho didn't work. Yeah, he was like his mind was ill.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, to to decide I'm gonna wake up the Kundalini, that's already an unstable state of mind to choose to do it in that way. There's something wrong. You know, if you don't want to do the work, if you don't want to go step by step, if you don't want to go slowly, and you want to do a shortcut, that attitude is already, there's something wrong in that standpoint. So it doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me that somebody has already some sort of instability in the psyche that makes them take the shortcut. Then the shortcut wakes up the Kundalini, and that instability becomes an actual mind. I don't know. It can be some psychotic episode. It can be something that other people would think, well, okay, she's crazy. Okay, she's doing yoga now. She's crazy. What's going on here? No.
Yeah. And there might even people be that do not do any yoga, but go to these awakening sessions and
Yeah.
yeah, and be totally overwhelmed. Might see and hear things their mind can't cope with, their psyche can't cope with. I also only know examples from people that are not having a regular Kundalini yoga practice.
Yeah.
And with me, it was like I went to a shamanic person on a session, and she got the drum, and once she got the drum, it like I was lying down, and it lifted me up with every bump. I was like whoop, jumping. It felt like jumping. Probably was just like 2 centimeters. I don't know, but there was this energy from the navel lifting me up in the rhythm, and then it took me from then on like 1.5 or 2 years until I realized, okay, this must be the Kundalini. Like it took me months to get into my to like to have the idea that it could be the Kundalini, and it took me like another year or something to recognize that it's the Kundalini. Because there are a lot of topics with it. Like, is it my ego, or is it am I was feeling, actually I was feeling ashamed with this somehow. And it was connected with proud a bit. And it was like, I'm not sure, is it really that? And people were like, ah, she's just making a show. And that was very hard for me because no one could, no one had this compassion, like really could share their experience with me. And I'm always so grateful with people that share these experiences so that we can talk about it. It really makes it much easier. And also it's like, yeah, I'm exploring it, very awareful, and still I don't know much about it. I found out that, for example, when the Kundalini is active and I'm doing something that's really, after a while, might become hard, I can send the energy just by a thought. I can send the energy up in my arms, and it will all be very easy. Yeah. But I have to remember in that moment that this is possible. And I find it very helpful actually to improve or to support the practice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying a few things. That when the Kundalini is something very beautiful, and the Kundalini, it's our birthright to allow it to wake up, and it wants to wake up. It is our potential, and it is energy, it's consciousness, it's power, it's a lot of things that are associated with that, and it's waiting to wake up. But it's waiting for us to be ready for the awakening. And I remember I had a wonderful yoga teacher from UK, and not from Kundalini Yoga, but she said, look, Kundalini is a snake. Okay. So if you see a snake in nature, are you going to go and beat it in the head with to beat in the bush to get her out of the bush to see her? It's like, it's a snake, watch out and go slowly and carefully and, use some reverence, right? And you can sense there is something majestic of to the cobra, right? You can see this image in India and the cobra rising, no? And you playing the flute. Maybe this connects with the music. Yeah, we were talking before about music. Yeah, we play the flute and this little cobra comes up and opens the hood. There's a lot of symbolism there, right? But that's a beautiful way to allow the majestic creature to open, the royal snake, right? To open the hood and be there. No, like these images. Have you seen this? I think it's Shiva with the snake on top of him, with the hood. Yeah. So that's the idea, right? It wants to wake up. Why are you going to go to the bush and hit the bush with a stick to get the snake to come out? And I feel these Kundalini activation things are a little bit like that. You hit the bush and you don't know how the Kundalini is going to come out. And it may be very beautiful when you see it. Oh, look how beautiful. But then where is it going to go? What is it going to do? And are you ready for that or not? And I would guess if you're looking for shortcuts, I can almost assure you 99% you don't know what's coming out, and it can happen anything could go, which is similar to drugs in a way. The way people just go for a weekend to take ayahuasca. In the middle of the city, they have this little shaman who comes there, and they haven't had a proper diet. They were not in the jungle in Brazil. They are just in the middle of the city. Let's go take ayahuasca, yay! It's like, what? Are you sure? So yeah, these shamanic things they work. They are very powerful, and let's this concept of power. I'm thinking now, yeah, Kundalini. We call it Kundalini Shakti, and Shakti means power, and so there is a power in it. But are we ready to manage and to gather this power? If we are, wonderful, because that's part of us. And let's have a powerful experience for our lives, yeah? And let's have a powerful impact into the world. Let's empower ourselves. We use these words, right? Wonderful, but we need to build ourselves slowly to get to that place when we are ready. And when we are ready, the way we recognize in Kundalini Yoga is that it can happen so naturally and so gracefully that there is absolutely no side effects. I've seen people who are so beautiful souls. They sing and they just touch you, and the love and the compassion that they exude, it's almost like it's flowing through them. And they haven't had these weird experiences, the trembling, the shaking, the things going through their body. They don't start doing things with their hands. They are just, love. And they've got there slowly. And they've gone through this practice, and they just gradually, it became so natural. It's like the opposite of the boiling frog. The frog that you put in water and you are increasing the fire little by little, and then it doesn't know it's cooked. In the same way, our ego happens the same. Slowly, you do your practice every day with humility. You do your singing, your chanting, your yoga, and the ego is being cooked. It doesn't even know it, and your body is getting ready, and the flower is waking up, and the flower is there, and the snake is ready to open the hood. And nobody even noticed, or you didn't notice. The people from the outside say, well, what's going on with Japa Jot? She's looking shiny today, right? Especially if they haven't seen you for a year. But we don't realize how these changes are happening. I find that more preferable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also find it hard that sometimes people say like, yeah, to awaken the Kundalini, you have to like breathe like this, and then you squeeze your bandhas and da, 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 da. But with me, it was just like, okay, I do like a Nabi Kriya, good example, and then there's the Shavasana, and in relaxation, without any intent, without doing any technique, just letting go, that's when the Kundalini will come up like a second entity in you. Yeah. You can't
Yeah.
really, you can't, I mean, now I can, like, I can like think Kundalini on and it will just come. But it's like letting go, and it's, with me, it's letting go in the pelvic. And most of the time, I just hold it there, and it's like a subconscious thing. It's I hold it there, and like once we do like in White Tantric, we do a meditation with closed eyes. I won't hold it anymore. And that just happened, and I realized, oh, am I holding it? Because now, once we closed eyes, it came up, and I
What
realized,
what do you
yes,
mean? What do you mean by holding it?
I'm in my pelvic area. There's very subtle tension to not letting the Kundalini rise up. And it's like I realized that it's really a fear, it's an anxiety
Right, right.
of this strength, of the power in me. I mean, we heard about this, Marianne Williamson or whatever. We're not afraid of our weakness, we're afraid of our power. And then I never really understood it. But then I got a glance of, that's maybe a part of it. And it's more like, can I really cope with it? What will happen? What will it do with me? Can I cope with the power rising up in me? Because I, it's it's not all like all the chakras aren't uh, cleared out yet. So it there is some shaking. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
because of that. Yeah, and but it doesn't feel bad. It feels supporting. It feels peaceful in a way. And also there's this like this white light in my aura. I can't see it, but I can, yeah, in a way I can see it, but not with my eyes, of course, not with those two eyes.
Mm.
And it feels like, yeah, just being in a peaceful cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, so two things that you are mentioning, I think is important to highlight. And I agree with those. One especially is the relaxing, yeah, not holding, not being afraid of that. I remember going through those bad experiences of the dizziness. Part of that was me resisting something that was happening in me,
Mhm.
and that was the outcome. Me being afraid, not knowing what's going on, feeling all this energy and resisting and fighting. That was creating a lot of pressure, especially in my head, and that was creating the dizziness. And as I've learned to relax, and then it can happen and it can be released more naturally. So part of that resisting, if anybody's going through Kundalini symptoms, is good to just visualize and imagine, visualize, yeah, that the energy is going up and through the crown and into the cosmos. So just let it out, right? Don't try to hold on to it. Just let it flow, and then down into the body, and kind of doing this up and down, or maybe even the microcosmic orbit through the back of the body and the front of the body, just to circulate the energy and not to have any point where we are resisting. This resistance is what it's not allowing it to flow naturally. And the other thing I think it's worth mentioning is that we are not fully. I mean, no matter how much yoga and diet we do, and lifestyle and all that, we are not perfect, and we have. Just by going outside into the city, there is already toxicity just in the atmosphere, in the underground, or the bus, or whatever. And so our chakras are not going to be so fully clean. But a lot of that, it's us. Yeah. So there is something that is natural, that is just, we are not going to be absolutely clean. But a lot of that is going to be us. And every chakra has its own, let's say, psycho-emotional dimension, yeah, that we can link to the chakra. And if we have anything on that dimension that we are some kind of blockage, then that's going to be there. So as the Kundalini gets to that point and it tries to pass through, that's what's going to feel. That's when people have these experiences. Yeah, the vibration, the heat, the movement, the whatever is happening. For me personally, a lot of it was like indigestion and things like that. It was stuck in the third chakra, and it would feel like an indigestion, for example. That would be an experience I would have back then, and that was relatively common. That was something that was not resolved in my third chakra. So when we have these Kundalini experiences, often are because something is blocked and it's trying to pass through. If you do yoga naturally, and you do your postures, you do your breathing, you do your meditation, and in a very natural way, the chakras are all being cleared. In a very natural way, your body is getting stronger. In a very natural way, you are more ready, you're more awake, and the Kundalini starts to flow more freely. It just passes through it, nothing happens. And that's kind of weird, but I remember Shiv Saran saying once, to be enlightened is actually quite boring, because nothing happens. There is no big experiences, and it's just in consciousness. You're just fully awake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but some people, we tend to get addicted to good experiences, and we look for them. We want to have these good experiences, and a lot of these weekends where you go and you have this kind of activation, you are looking for an experience. But if you are raising it naturally, it doesn't have to happen. Actually, most of the time I don't even pay attention to the Kundalini. And when I teach, I don't even pay attention to the Kundalini too much. I just try to focus on, let's get the nervous system ready, let's balance the glandular system, let's have enough flexibility and health and vitality in your body to sit and meditate, and let's focus the mind, and let's clear the energy in the channels, in the chakras, and just, then focus on your devotion and bhakti and heart and love and compassion and all these things. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Don't worry about the Kundalini. Don't worry about, unless something is happening, unless it's manifesting, unless there is some issue, unless something is wrong and there is some blockage. Okay, then we can talk about that. But otherwise, I try not to give too much attention to this because it can be quite fascinating as well.
Yes, that's a trap. And yeah, and also I think that Kundalini yoga teacher should know uh, just a bit about how to maybe recognize this could be some Kundalini awakening symptoms, and so that they can be like relaxed or professional, react or act professionally. Because I sometimes found that people, even in the Kundalini Sangat, were confused or very insecure with symptoms around that. And so, yeah, that's where I'm actually thinking about applying for giving a workshop on the European Yoga Festival um, about the Kundalini, just to, yeah, to talk about this topic and get some consciousness about it some more without making it like a sensational, uh, yeah,
Yeah, bring more awareness to the
fascinating.
topic. That's always going to be useful. And also recognize that when we have a student that's going through this, there is especially in these modern times, there is a high level of self-obsession. You know, people who
Mhm.
are too much in their process and or healing my trauma, or you know, they go into this, oh, I'm having this Kundalini thing, and they want to capture your attention. They want you to tell them how special they are and the special the feeling that they are getting. And um, so how to deal with that, right? That it's
Mhm.
about the what they are projecting on top of the experience. Whether the experience is real or not, it's not even so interesting. It's more about the reaction that they are creating and the whole fantasy that is going around that. So certainly we need more to be better informed as yogis and as teachers, so that when these things happen to others and happens to us, but especially also to our students, we know how to deal with that in a appropriate way.
Yeah. Yes.
Sounds
Okay.
useful.
So thank you, Ardaas Singh, for
Thank
yeah
you.
this lovely conversation about the Kundalini. And yeah, maybe can you tell us where can people find you, or what do you offer? Well, I don't know. I mean, you have this YouTube channel, but maybe you also offer some training or online course. Can you tell us?
Well, right now I'm not really doing any course apart from the level ones and twos that I'm invited. So I appear here and there when they invite me, generally through Europe, but sometimes overseas, but mainly online. And overseas, online. In Europe, I travel. So I'm generally popping up in different trainings when somebody invites me. But apart from that, everything I research, I post it in YouTube. So I would say if anybody wants to know more about this, then feel free to visit the YouTube channel and you can look for my name, Ardaas, or Ardaas, let's say, Ardaas Singh. I have also a website and anybody can contact me through that. And yeah, there's lots of research that I do and I put it there. But if anybody goes and watches something, and if you know something, just share it with us. You know, share it with the community. You know, write a comment, write a post, and share it with us so that we can interact. Yeah, I posting in YouTube. You know it. You have your own channel, right? It can feel a little bit like I'm just speaking to the wind. I don't know if anybody's listening, right? So it's good to have feedback and to have some interaction so that it brings other things from us. There is this idea that teachers are like books. If nobody opens the book and reads it, then the book is dead, no? So
Mm.
when people ask us questions, when people share what they know, and that's when we can interact with them and we can go deeper into a topic. So feel
Yes,
free
please.
to contact.
So yeah, and put your comments, ask, or yeah, share your experiences. Yes, and we will put some links in the description, so to your website and your YouTube channel and so on. And yeah, thank you for listening, everyone, and thank you, Ardaas Singh, for being here. And all the best.
Thank you
Satnam.
very much, Japa Jot, for inviting me. And thank you everyone for watching. Saddam.
Um,